Oh, Ethan jumped on. I was just talking to Ethan. He was out on his outdoor rink out here in Ontario, and I just told him I'm going to be on. He just jumped on. He's going to listen to what we're going to chat about here.
Good place to be on the outdoor rink there.
Yeah, I'm going to give shout outs as I see shit here. I'm concentrating on you, but I just saw Coach Donnie Bartlett here. He's got I believe he's got the U13s or the U12s Hurricanes up here, AAA level, and always doing things to keep the teams active and what they need to do. It's kind of important. Anyways, I interrupted. Go ahead, and I'm just excited to talk to you, Nelly. Like twice in 2 weeks, and we can just continue where we left off, man. We were so energetic with what we were talking about to help everybody out there.
Yeah, for sure. So just give a little bit about yourself to my followers. I mean, we pretty much have the same community, but for the guys that are here in the States, just let us know a little bit about your coaching and your teaching background, where you're located.
Okay, thanks, man. I've been an NHL level shooting and scoring coach for about 26 years now, but I've been teaching shooting and scoring like a bunch of years before that. I've been doing it a long time. I'm located up in the Toronto area, and like we spoke before, Nelly, Toronto's like it's like a huge area. It's like the mecca of hockey in Canada, because there's so many players in such a small area and so many rinks. So there's a lot of opportunity here for us to send messages to our followers, and I'm excited to be able to do that.
I agree. What are the COVID restrictions that you guys are currently under in terms of rinks and gyms? Give a little bit about to the guys in the States here. Let us know what you guys are up against.
Yeah, we're challenged here, everybody. There's everybody's wasting wishes on hope. On wishing that they lived, south of our border here, because of the flexibility that you guys have to do stuff. We're shut down until the 27th of January here. No gyms are open, so players gotta be creative when they're training to get ready and stay interested in stuff to get back on the ice. We can't get on the ice here. There are a couple of indoor training facilities that are private where we have the luxury to go in and do our, the social distancing thing, wear our masks and all that kind of stuff. But no one wants to get caught when we're trying to listen to what's being governed to us in the restrictions here. But with that being said, like Ethan here, he's in his outdoor rink and he invites his buddies over, and they're like, holy smoke, hey Wazzy, and that's what we're trying to do, is keep the players and athletes as interested as possible, so that when they get back to things, it's like they haven't lost a step. They don't have any rust to kick out, but that's easier said than done when it comes to the mind.
Yeah, so the kids are finding the outdoor rinks, and they're out there. Are the kids in school or no?
Yeah, so they were supposed to go back yesterday, but we had a big, huge snow day up here in Ontario. So, and I'm going to go on record by saying us folk up here in Canada, we're scared to drive. There's a little bit of snow, but it's kind of challenging. And when we get back into school, it looks like that there's some academy schools that have programs that are in ring, so they're able to get back on the ice again. And I think they're going to kick that off again tomorrow, just in some certain situations. But those situations only cater to certain individuals that have the ability to do that, financially and time-wise and stuff. So we're trying to help out the kids by doing stuff like this. We're trying to help out the players by sending information and all that kind of stuff. But it's a challenge, Nelly. So we're doing the best we can.
Yeah, we were kind of in the same situation as you guys are currently in. Almost, I would say it's a little under 2 years ago. It's tough to explain to a kid, they don't have school. You take the sport they love away from them, and then, the gym, like hockey players are competitive people, right? And they have the routine, and once you take that away from them, it's difficult, and it's not only difficult for the young kids, it's difficult for the pros. It's difficult for coaches like you and I, right? That I'm a people person, and I know you are too, right? So once you take that socialization away from kids, it's almost like, what do you expect the kids to do, right?
Yeah, 100%. That's a good point. So that's why I feel like guys like us or people like us that are in, I want to say we're in the middle of the pack when it comes to, we're not coaching and we're not managing, but we're developing. So when we're in the middle, everything falls into the middle. It always say it falls down into the middle or it comes up to the middle. And we got to be ready ourselves, not just physically, but also mentally, to support exactly what these athletes need and the ones that we're connected to. And it's unreal. We were talking about how, you'll work with a player here from Ontario that I've worked with, or I'll work with a player from Illinois or Chicago area that you've worked with, and how we complement each other in the teaching style and the passion to make sure and hope that these players are improving at the rates that they can and that they want to.
Yeah, it's tough, right? Like, what kind of conversations are you having with some of your players? Whether it's a younger kid or a kid that's playing juniors. Are the junior leagues shut down too as well?
Yeah, the junior leagues are shut down. Yeah, so that's and it's across the board, but the message. So in the age groups, whether it's U9 or U8, however young you want to go up to the juniors, the message is the same. It's just being delivered a little bit differently. In the younger players, we're trying to give them as much suggestions as things that they can do while they're at home, or with what they have to do with. Some players have outdoor rinks, some just use their driveway and they're in a basement doing stuff. So it's like you can't, if you're going to be robotic about something and you don't have a plan, our job is to make sure, hey, you guys, let's give you guys a plan on something that you can work on today. And I'm a shooting coach, but that doesn't mean I can't suggest they do some stick handling in short areas by working on wrist action, getting the blade over the puck. Because sometimes, that stick that we have, that little stick that we have, if we use it properly and we rotate it and we get rotation, then we know we're going to cover the puck, even though we're not shooting it. But preparation and stick handling is just as important as the shot itself. If you can't handle it, you can't shoot it.
Let me see that stick again, Turkey.
Look at that, man. And
is that a true stick?
Yeah, that's a mini true stick. I'm blessed to be supported by True Hockey. And one of the things that I use this thing for, which is really cool, is when I'm teaching players about hand positions.
Yeah.
Should your hand be for a certain shot? How do you utilize? Remember, we're talking about kick points, low kick point. And well, when I use this stick and I explain that, if your bottom hand goes in this position and they're really close together for a quick release, the kick point starts at your bottom hand and goes all the way down to the heel of your stick on the ice. And then you can see how it kicks back. You can see that kick technology. Then if I lower my hand a little bit to a slap shot or an impact position where I'm shooting the puck, then look how it kicks. See how faster that kicks? So this example of if it's way up here.
Great tool there.
You know what I mean? So if you take a quick release shot, we want to make sure that we know your hands are tighter than if it's going to be a slapper or a clapper or an impact. But we want to get your hand to the position where it's utilizing where the kick is the best. And when you adjust your hand by half an inch, it's like a million miles in reaction to the stick. So it's a good example of like showing the players how the stick kicks, depending on where your hands are.
That's awesome. Yeah, that's good stuff there. So that leads to my next question. When you're working with most of our followers or kids that are on right now are younger players, is there anything in particular that you notice when working on shooting with younger kids that really stands out that overall they need to focus on?
Yeah, there's two things. And one is what we just spoke about, the positioning of where I call the bottom hand a power hand because it creates force and it puts power. I did this coaching, Nelly, I did this coaching symposium and I talked about how to gain power, sustain power, and produce power. And one guy makes a comment, power is electricity. You need to use the word force, not power. And I'm like, okay, buddy, but so one of the things I noticed is that power hand, the bottom hand, where it's positioned. and it's constantly inconsistent, which is common, where players will go in and they'll take a quick release shot and their hand will drop to here, they'll take their shot, and they'll go in for another drill and their hand will drop to there, then there, then there. It's kind of like moving around a little bit. So to be consistent with that bottom hand is really important. The way to do it, put a piece of tape there. You know, practice.
So here's yeah. I don't mean to cut you off, but this question here caught my attention. My son, 10-year-old, and went quite he got basically talking about how his 10-year-old is not as motivated anymore during the lockdown, and it was really hard to get him back on track. If you have any tips, that would be awesome. Thanks. You know, I'll let you start off.
Yeah, absolutely. One of the things, like I'll lead right into that. You know, the two things that I notice for
that's a good question.
That are called. That's a really good question. You know, one is the hand positioning, as we talked about. The second one is when they do shoot, they overload the puck. They take the puck too far behind them or too far away from them. So one thing that this particular person could introduce to their kids is give them challenges on the puck location when they're standing, whether they're in their shoes or shooting or their skates are on. I give them like challenges. It's like, okay, take the puck back, shoot where you normally would shoot from. Then you make a mark where their feet are. And if they take the puck all the way, like if they load the puck back, like here's their stick right here, and they load it way back over here, then you make a mark on the ice saying it can only go back to there, which is level with their back foot. And then just take some shots from there, see how that feels. But then put targets on the net, you know, or put something in there that they're going to aspire to hit. And then when they hit it, they can move on to a progression target or move the puck up a little bit more just to get them motivated. That's on the shooting side of things. But there's also the stick handling side of things, the body positions, you know, just to introduce all kinds of different things. And they can find all that stuff on my website. And because there's what I did was I put on my website for tonight's live, I put on the top 10 things that'll help you become a better shooter. And when they go to the website, it'll be right on the homepage, and then they can download all the information that's there, 10 things. I don't want to go over everything, but that's one thing to do to help motivate. But the parent has to be motivated as well. So if you're asking how to motivate, you be motivated, and that'll help them to be motivated as well. What do you think, Nelly? What do you got?
Yeah, I think it's a good question. It's a question that I've answered a lot lately, unfortunately. And that question is from IOTZINZ. I think getting your kid back on track, I think make it fun for him, right? Like whatever he wants to work on, whatever he wants to do, let him do that. And then I think then one thing will lead to another. And if you can do that, you know, with a couple buddies of his, whether like we talked about at the beginning of the conversation is get the kids to the pond if that's the only option, or have kids over and play shinny. You know, there's going to be a lot of NHL games on here coming up. I think NHL just released their revised schedule to get everything in before the deadline. You know, I think anything in terms of that maybe help the kid, you know. It's tough, right? Like every kid's different, you know, and it's as a parent with a 5-year-old and an 18-year-old, you know, you have to watch them closely, you know, because like I said, it's very, very difficult. I've never been in this situation before, and I'm sure you haven't been as well. But once things are taken from you, I mean, anyone's going to lose motivation, and that's the reality of it, right? Like once like we have our routines, whether that's there's two places where I'm happy and I'm by myself and I feel myself, and that one's at the rink and the other one's at the gym and inside my house, right? And once you lose that social interaction, I think it's hard for kids, right? Because they're on a computer for 8 hours a day during school, and the reality of it is the kids look forward to being at the rink. I'm not a psychologist, but unfortunately I've kind of became more of a psychologist over the last 2 years, which, you know, has kind of helped me in terms of coaching and stuff like that. I think hockey's been secondary. It's just making sure that these kids are sharp mentally. But I guess the answer to your question would be is if you have an opportunity and to get them on the ice, make it fun for them and let them be a kid, right? Like no, if the kid's on the pond, like we just had a bunch of kids over the other day, right? Like there's no drills. I'm not barking at the kids. The kids are 5 years old. All they want to do is play 3-on-3, 4-on-4. They want to see who can hit the crossbar, like, and that's what it's about, right? Like, so given the environment that they're in, just whatever it is, you know, whether you have a buddy over to play shinny or whether you're going to watch an NHL game with them on TV, just get that fire back in them and make it fun. And I think that, you know, one thing will lead to another. So I hope that answers your question. And that's a question that I've been asked a lot, and every kid's different. So I wish your 10-year-old and you the best of luck in getting them back on track. And if there's anything we can do, you can certainly DM Turkey, or you can DM myself.
You know, when you say get that fire back, you know, like a lot of times when there's all kinds of possible issues or distractions that might make a parent feel like the players lost that fire or that passion. But the passion and the fire is always there. It just needs to be restarted and restored.
Yeah.
And that's what we have to do. Let them be a kid. Find out what that is. Make suggestions. You know, like watch hockey. It doesn't have to be NHL. Watch any hockey. Just watch anything you can get on TV. You know, get videos, and there's so much stuff that you can get online nowadays. It's unbelievable. You just got to Google whatever you want to do, and Google funny moments in the NHL and watch that stuff. You know, like have a good laugh. And because everything's so negative, it's time we turn this around and make everything.
I couldn't agree with you more on that, Turkey.